Part 50. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Xiangxiao. Chapter 512. Hey, Yang Yu, it's not bad. How does it feel to take two girls in the sky? Wan Kai's who went to the island early with other domestic trainers to accurately divide the area according to the Elf Alliance's World Center Island Station area rules. Divide your campsite accurately. Yang Yu easily jumped off the back of the Salted Fish King, clapped his hands, and told the truth. Their ability to survey and map the island is indeed very impressive. Wan Kai's who, are we setting up a tent here? Yang Yu continued to ask. Wan Kai's who nodded, turned his eyes around, and said with a smile, yes, this is where we will be temporarily stationed in the next few days. Here on the World Center Island, in addition to the normal Masters tournament, you can also go. A fight is a challenge at your door. Yang Yu smacked his lips and blinked. Is there such a life-threatening operation? Just treat it as a temporary gym. It's an unwritten rule. Don't break through the entire gym at once. It doesn't matter if you pick one or two. Wan Kai's who looked slightly weird and looked at it carefully. Yang Yu glanced at him. What's wrong? Yang Yu was a little confused. There are mines, there are mines, there are mines. Yang Yu is back, Wan Kai's who shouted several times toward the camp. Coming, coming, coming. Wu Yuqian slowly walked out of the tent, followed by two trainers with beards. Hello Yang, I'm Ivan. You are? Yang Yu suddenly remembered that among the people Wu Yuqian introduced to him before, he highlighted the name Ivan. A member of the royal family from the polar bear country. Hello, hello. Yang Yu stretched out his hand and held it forward. Shaq Aris next to Ivan was about to shake hands instead of Ivan, but was stopped by Ivan's eyes. I have admired you for a long time, the amazing genius trainer who appeared in China this year. Ivan stretched out his hand and held Yang Yu's hand firmly. Yang, when can we invite you to our place? This Gyarados of yours looks a little itchy. Will you be able to let me compare with it in person? It will be fun, Ivan said at a close distance. Seeing the bright blue giant beast in front of him, his heartbeat couldn't help but accelerate. Yang Yu almost skipped a beat in his heart. It seems that no matter which world he is in, the people of the polar bear country are still like this. Naiubi, he is indeed not an ordinary person. Shaq Aris, Ivan glanced at him. Shaq Aris quickly and respectfully handed a box to Yang Yu. There is a special commemorative ball inside. You can go to my manor to pick any elf. Of course, you can also choose intelligently through the information equipment at the customs office of the Elf Alliance. It can be regarded as my meeting gift, Ivan said with a faint tone of majesty. Of course, the elves in the manor may not be as good as the elves you have now. This commemorative ball can also be used as a token of appreciation. Yang Yu glanced in the direction of Wu Yuqian and found that Wu Yuqian nodded slightly. Thank you very much. Yang Yu accepted it with confidence. Ivan and Shaq Aris left soon. When they came here, the main thing was to meet Yang Yu and present him with a special commemorative ball. Before leaving, Ivan still looked at it reluctantly. The Salted Fish King looked at him several times. The Salted Fish King is even more confused. Is there something wrong with this man's mind? Why do you look like you don't deserve a beating? It's a pity that she's not a girl. She actually dares to covet the beauty of him, the Salted Fish King, and makes her cry all over her. Just accept it with confidence and boldness. As long as you defeat the elves when they fight, only then can Ivan be convinced by giving this commemorative ball. Wu Yuqian patted Yang Yu's shoulder. Okay, but this commemorative ball looks very high-end. How much did it cost to customize it? Yang Yu touched the ball inside from the box and couldn't help but be speechless. Wu Yuqian and Wan Kai's who glanced at each other, wondering whether they should tell Yang Yu how this news. After all, this commemorative ball. This is a commemorative ball. The gift itself is not valuable, but the thought is valuable. Wu Yuqian coughed lightly. This commemorative ball is probably worth this amount. Wan Kai's carefully stretched out 3 fingers. 30,000, Yang Yu's eyes lit up. No, 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 it's 300. Wan Kai's shook his head repeatedly. 333, 300. Ordinary elf balls cost 1,000, but this commemorative ball is only worth 300. Don't forget the elves of the royal manor. Wan Kai's patted his head and quickly calmed himself down. Yang Yu always doesn't speak human words. I really want to have a real 1v1 with him. The kind without elves? Go and set up the tent first, and then you can go to the battle site. The opponents have probably been assigned there. Just finish the battle within the specified time. Wu Yuqian introduced to Yang Yu in a familiar manner. No problem, Dudu, let's go. Yeah. The battlefield on the world's center island is completely different from what Yang Yu has seen before. It can be said that the venue is very interesting. Just like a flower blooming in the center, there is a huge land field in the middle, surrounded by a circle of different field classifications. Forests, beaches, pools, rocks, steep slopes and mountains, the 5 main sites, are adjacent to each other and surround the central land. The Elf Alliance had a speculation on the center island battlefield. Because the island is on the sea, and the center island is floated by the Roaring Whale King's water spray move. In this way, can a battlefield like this be rotated around the central land field? However, this speculation has not been confirmed until now. Of course, the elven world is magical, and humans have also learned many architectural construction methods from the natural wonders of the elven world that can help the human world. There are many battle arenas that imitate the structure of the world's center island, and they have been built all over the world. In this way, the utilization rate of the battlefield can be greatly improved. In addition to the venue here, there is also a special underwater battle arena on the other end of the island. Trainers need to wear special diving suits to go underwater and engage in elf battles with the elves in the battle arena at the bottom. Of course, the venue in this place will not be opened in the first half of the event. Trainers have a certain amount of time to adapt to the water. If the venue is insufficient, they can also go to the sea on the edge of the island to adapt in advance. Yang Yu, your first opponent is Wenfei Li from Australia. Hey, what a coincidence. The one I met is also named Wenfei Li, and she is also from Australia. Isn't she a twin female trainer? Wu Yuqian took a look at the player battle card and found that he had read it correctly. It was indeed the same name. Twin. Yang Yu scratched his head. This was not easy to handle. What if you accidentally hit the older one for crying, and the older one comes to your door? What if you beat the older one for crying, and the younger one comes for you? Besides, which one is the older sister and which one is the younger sister? How do you identify them? Forget it, we can only look at the salted fish king. Yang Yu can't recognize it. It's a pity that this is not like the game in the previous life. In the battle, Yang Yu can only play 1v1. There is no way to summon 2 elves at the same time to fight 2v2 with the twin opponents. However, if playing 2v2, send out Salty Fish King and Little Bayo Bayo. The Salted Fish King beats the big ones, and the Little Bayo Bayo beats the small ones. This configuration is good. However, when Yang Yu and Wu Yuqian arrived at the battle site and were waiting, they vaguely saw 3 almost identical female trainers. Chug tug tug, 3, births. Ask for votes. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 513. Come on sister. Come on sister. The one who fought Wu Yuqian in the first battle seemed to be the eldest sister among the triplets. The triplets trainer in Australia has very white skin and white legs. He wears a pink peaked cap and is youthful and beautiful. But what makes Yang Yu a little uncomfortable is, are all Australian girls this tall? Yang Yu thought that her height was pretty good, barely 1.8 meters, but when the triplets stood together in front of her, they looked a bit like a wall. Brother Qian, come on. Don't worry, junior brother Han, I'm not weak in this battle. Wu Yuqian made a gesture. Yang Yu and Wu Yuqian were in the same battle zone, which was the third area of land and mountains. The other four major areas were randomly assigned with other trainers. Sister, shouldn't his surname be Wu? Why, their name is Qian, the younger Wenfiler frowned slightly curiously. According to Huaguo's name, it should be called Wu Yuqian. Could it be that the real name of my sister's opponent is Qian Wu, the second largest trainer among the three sisters? Wenfiler lowered his head and thought. Ah, what a strange name. How about we ask the Chinese trainer named Han? It looks like they should be familiar with each other, Xiao Wenfil suggested. Yang Yu watched with some surprise as two of the triplets walked over and called him directly. Mr. Han. Yang Yu coughed slightly in his heart and nodded. Hello, you two. That Mr. Qian is the one who just entered the battlefield. Shouldn't his surname be Wu? Just when little Wenfilaire was confused, two groups of opponents came out of the field at the same time. I would like to invite Yang Yu from China and Lisa Wenfiler from Australia. Sister, you guys continue chatting, I'm going to the venue to wait for my opponent. Second sister Wenfiler was about to enter the battle channel. Hey, wait, I'll go too. In the blank eyes of the two sisters, Yang Yu walked next to Lisa Wenfiler, but it was still the same battle channel. Isn't your surname Han? The two sisters said in unison. Yang Yu nodded. Han, that's another name for me. My real name is Yang Yu. Are you a special agent? Is Han your code name? Yang Yu. Your sister, the two titles of senior brother Qian and junior brother Han are just special names for the close relationship between Yang Yu and Wu Yuqian. They are used to commemorate the special friendship in the National Forest Team competition. Why did you change it to an agent code name? Why are these two girls so imaginative? Stop, let's play the game first. Play the game first. Yang Yu felt like he had a big headache. I know, we will definitely keep your secrets. Yang Yu looked at the solemn expressions in the eyes of the twins. For a moment, he had the urge to beat them both to tears at the same time. You are the agents, twin agents, no, triplets agents. Hold head high. A battleground between mountains and land. Senior brother Qian's competition has taken off quickly. The strong and powerful wings cut out sharp air slashes in the air, and the light arrows were like sharp edges, and they quickly slashed towards the marsupial dragon on the ground. The blades swept away, and at the same time, a huge wind blew, and the strong wind blew across the field. In the middle, even the marsupial dragon had to reach out to block the wind and sand sweeping in front of it. Use the wind driven by the air slash to affect the side of the Venfilaire Bagosaurus. However, the decisiveness of the marsupial dragon was beyond Wu Yuqian's imagination. He used his body as a springboard to pick up his child, the small marsupial dragon, from his pocket. He rolled to avoid the air slash and struck the ground with the slash, shaking open two eye-catching blade. A small figure jumped into the air. Bai Diao, turn back quickly. Little marsupial, Thunder Fist. Wu Yuqian was the first to understand Wenfiler's decision. The moment the Marsupialosaurus was about to counterattack, he was already on guard against the Thunder Fist of the small Marsupialosaurus in the bag. In the duel with the Bagosaurus, be sure to pay attention. It's not one elf fighting, it's probably two. Hold head high. Yang Yu looked at the eagle in the sky, which was almost constantly flying in a 7 shape. The eagle was so fast that it was hard to see clearly. It was like a dancer in the air, using its superb body. Magic skills, confuse the big and small marsupial dragons, and at the same time. Ready. This time, my sister lost. In Yang Yu's ears, Lisa Wenfiler's voice sounded very calm, but her next words were very exciting. What an amazing Baidiao. This Mr. Qian can cultivate almost the most common flying elves so exquisitely. His combat skills and acuity are even better than my sister's, so powerful. Senior brother Qian's eagle competition ranks first among all the trainers' eagle competitions in the national competition, and he is well deserved. It's time for us to start. Yang Yu subconsciously touched his chin. There are many differences between Yang Yu's style of play and Wu Yuqian's. Perhaps because of the situation of the elf lineup, skill-based battles, at least here in Yang Yu, are rarely seen unless they just stay on the field. Of course, if the little dream demon has a chance to play, Yang Yu must use all his strength to direct the little dream demon in the elf battle. As for the mini dragon, it's better to just be a foodie with peace of mind. At least before evolving into a Hakasaurus, Yang Yu felt that the mission of the mini dragon was to eat, sleep, eat while sleeping, and exercise more while eating. When Tijipai came on stage, Yang Yu felt that this ultimate move should be kept well. Tijipai was born not long ago, and Yang Yu didn't want to let a child laborer play temporarily. After all, this child laborer is terrible when he cries. King Salted Fish, I'll leave the first battle to you. We have attracted so much attention on this island, so naturally we can't let these opponents down. Yang Yu took out King Salted Fish's elf ball in his hand. Come out, Marsupial. Lisa, the second sister of the Windfiler triplets, threw out her elf ball decisively. Gah! Just like the elf that was the eldest sister of Windfiler's triplets when Yang Yu saw Wu Yuqian before, it was also a marsupial dragon. In the pouch, the little marsupial dragon is already gearing up and ready to show off its talents. Salted Fish King? Salted Fish King, don't sleep with Salted Fish King. Salted Fish King, come out quickly. Salted Fish King. Only. Yang Yu threw King Salted Fish's elf ball, but nothing happened, and Yang Yu was a little confused. Where is the Salted Fish King? Didn't he put away the Salted Fish King before the battle? Ho dash. Yang Yu picked up the elf ball and threw it several times. Finally, the light appeared. But at this time, both Yang Yu and Lisa were dumbfounded. You may not believe it, but King Salted Fish, who had not returned to the pokeball for a long time, actually felt the warmth of home and the temptation to go home. As soon as he returned to the pokeball, he wanted to have a good sleep and get rid of all the fatigue in his body. In this way, when the Salted Fish King came out of the elf ball, he was lying flat on the grounds. Poppy. Tijipai and Little Dream Demon both had their eyes wide open. They have never seen such a lazy Salted Fish King. Gah! The little marsupials in the pouch were dumbfounded. If the Salty Fish King was standing at this time, it would definitely be looking down at the marsupial below. There is still a long distance between the two. But now, how long is the Salted Fish King lying down? Before the battle, the distance between the trainers of both sides was very wide. In addition, when ordinary elves appeared, they would be not far from the trainers. In order to avoid accidentally hurting himself, Yang Yu deliberately moved a little further forward. At the same time, the appearance of the Salted Fish King would inevitably make him roar loudly. Yang Yu could also cover his ears in advance. Just now, a giant Gyarados lay on its side in front of the Thylakosaur and the little Thyroid with its huge mouth open. The black and ferocious mouth was like an abyss. Just ask you. Moved or not? Continue later. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Xiangxiao. Chapter 514. So big. What a big Gyarados. Lisa couldn't help but take a small step back. So you are that person, the trainer who brought the Lapras group to the center island of the world. The Salted Fish King who was lying on the ground moved his beard. He opened his eyes and looked at the girl trainer who woke him up in front of him in confusion. By the way, when did he, the salted fish king, turn into a human? It can only be blamed on the enchanting sleeping posture of the salted fish king lying on the ground, blocking the line of sight between Yang Yu and Lisa, coupled with the huge head and thick neck. Oh, it turned out to be Yang Yu. Hybrid dragon, take action now. The game starts the moment the elf is summoned. Although this is a time when the opponent is unpredictable and careless, we still have to seize this opportunity. Thunder Fist. Galu. The little marsupial in the pouch was greatly frightened. As a mother, the marsupial had to protect her child. Her thick arms quickly moved backward to gather strength, and her fist full of violent beauties its size condensed the flickering energy. Electric light. The marsupial dragon's eyes were unwavering, and the bursting electric energy shot ferociously in his fist. With a sound, the thunder fist that ripped open the air exploded towards the chin of the salted fish king. The salted fish king's pupils shrank. A hint of excitement flashed deep in his eyes. The thunder and lightning fist that caused strong fluctuations in the aura was undoubtedly a sugar-coated bullet for the salted fish king. Eat the candy and hit the cannonball back. This is the most correct choice for the salted fish king. Boom. Almost at the moment when the fist hit the salted fish king's jaw, this seemingly lazy bright blue body shone with a bright and attractive light under the sunlight. I want the electric popping candy in my fist. As for that fist. Roar. A terrifying aura burst out from the whole body of the salted fish king, and a layer of dust spread out from the air around the body. At the same time, he suddenly exerted his strength and used his firm body to confidently greet the Shangyang Glong. A fist that sparkles with thunder and lightning. Unmoving like a mountain, moving like thunder. The powerful force that exploded in an instant drove the body of the marsupial dragon to fly forward fiercely. Such force directly suspended the legs of the marsupial dragon from the ground. The thunder fist of the Bagosaurus. Lightning flashes. The salted fish king almost flew into the sky with so much joy. This is a different feeling from 100,000 volts and lightning. 100,000 volts and lightning envelope the whole body in an instant. It is a kind of electric light bath for the whole body. Thunder fist can be called a massage at one point. Sizzle. The thunder fist of the Berserurus struck almost the hardest chest of the salty fish king. This is where the hardest chest of the salty fish king could withstand the attack of the nearly king-level overlord Megalodon, and the thunder fist of the Berserurus. A small fist hitting your chest? No. The real little punch is yet to come. The baby in the marsupial pouch also moved. Like its mother, the little marsupial dragon, Little Fist also began to gather the power of thunder and lightning. The little marsupial dragon who felt scared in front of the salted fish king now felt a sense of shame and anger in his heart under the leadership of his mother. Orcs will never be slaves. Da-da-da-da-da. The left and right fists alternated rapidly, and the little marsupial dragon hammered hard at the chest of the salted fish king. Even though he felt that his fists were a little numb, but he still didn't stop. The salted fish king almost wanted Yang Yu to help him mark the clock or something and let the Bagosaurus serve him. The power of this thunder and lightning fist was just right. By the way, I need to call a few more heads. One head is not enough, two heads are slightly less, and the three-headed marsupial is just right. The fist can relax the salted fish king's muscles and bones, giving his scales a sense of active collision. Especially a fist like this, if it can hit every corner of his body, it will be the best massage. The most commendable thing is the thunder and lightning in this explosive fist. Especially the one at the back, the thunder fist of the small marsupial dragon. Under the heavy fist of the mother of the marsupial dragon, there must be a comfortable and stable small fist to help, although for the salted fish king, heavy punches are also acceptable. However, heavy punches and small punches are a two-pronged approach, and the two complement each other. Heavy, it can completely activate the joints in Xianya Wang's body and no longer get stuck. Lightness, this continuous feeling of vitality, is like the slow healing after a heavy punch. The muscles and bones are relaxed, and it can even activate the blood. It's simply not that exciting. In order to appreciate the Thunder Fist and Thunder Small Fist of the Bagosaurus and the Bagosaurus, the Salted Fish King decided to find a comfortable environment for them to survive. Since it is on the battlefield, Salted Fish King cannot deliberately lose to his opponent. After all, since it is on the battlefield, Salted Fish King also wants to win beautifully. Boom! The salty fish thrust used by the Salty Fish King kept pushing the marsupialus and the small marsupial all the way to the mountainous side. Finally, under the impact, the small half of the Bagosaurus was embedded at the foot of the hill. At the same time, the Salted Fish King also withdrew a lot of strength. Due to the influence of sea water, the outer mountain is much softer than a normal mountain. However, due to the stickiness of the mud, this small mountain range is just an extra pit. The Salted Fish King smiled hee and took a few steps back. The little marsupial was now in the mother's pouch with its eyes closed and punching menacingly. But now, with its short legs and short hands, how could it possibly hit the Salted Fish King? Gah! The mother of the Bagosaurus looked helplessly at the child in her arms who was battling with the air, and sighed. This time, she lost. If it weren't for the strength of the Salted Fish King behind her, she would probably be in a state of losing all combat effectiveness. Hybrid, Bagosaurus, are you okay? Lisa's forehead was covered with sweat as she ran fast in this somewhat huge venue, especially under the bright sun, and her clothes were soaked with sweat. Gah! What a powerful Gyarados! It can actually withstand the damage of the Thunder Punch. Lisa gritted her teeth, looked at the Bursalosaurus embedded in the mountain, and tried to help the Bursalosaurus pull it out. However, with her body, even if she was taller than Yang Yu, compared with the Marsupialosaur, how could she possibly pull the Caposaurus out of the pit at the foot of the mountain? Roar! The Salted Fish King turned around and put his tail in front of the marsupial dragon. The trouble should end it. To get out of this pit, you have to rely on the Salted Fish King who dug the pit. The little marsupial dragon still angrily used the Thunder Punch at the Salty Fish King's tail, but was quickly slapped into the pouch by its mother. If you lose, you lose. After being embedded in the mountain, there is no possibility for the Marsupialosaur to continue to move. How could it be the opponent of the giant Gyarados in front of you with just the small Marsupialosaur? The Salted Fish King felt a little regretful. The best arrangement would be to hit the little marsupial dragon with its small thunder and lightning fist, and hit his tail. Why? Pity. Happy Christmas Eve. Pokémon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Xiao. Chapter 515. What a speed! This is a one-hit strike to defeat the enemy. The decisive marsupial dragon, but the Gyarados, is even more decisive. I tried to force this Thunder Fist move. My god, the speed of this sudden impact is so terrifying. If you want to compete with the power of Gyarados' impact, this marsupial is still far behind. Most of the trainers outside the safety line of the venue were attracted by the clean blow of the giant Gyarados just now. There are no fancy fighting methods, relying on the impact power that Gyarados should be most proud of, leaving shocking pit marks on the battlefield. It's over, it's over. My sisters have lost all their marsupials. Oh, what should I do now? That one is so awesome, and so is this Gyarados. No matter what, sisters, keep up the good work. Gwenfilaire's eyes were switching between the battlefields from left to right, but it seemed like there was no good news. Bai Diao was roosting under the wind. It was difficult for the eldest sister's elf to attack Bai Diao, so he could only watch Bai Diao's physical strength getting stronger and stronger. The other side. Little Gwenfilaire rubbed his eyes subconsciously. At this moment, looking from a distance, there seemed to be another pit on the mountain. Lisa Gwenfilaire's second elf, the Great Needlebee. The giant needlebee has a flexible body shape, and its double needles, which are white like lance gauntlets, flash with sharp edges in the sun. Different from the wild giant needlebee, this giant needlebee seems to have something on its double needles. A little maintenance of metal paint makes it look tougher. The giant needlebee, whose wings were buzzing and vibrating, circled and circled around the salted fish king. Compared with the size of the salted fish king, the giant needle wasp is like a mosquito. In the battle between elves, the giant sting wasp took advantage of its seemingly weak body size to use its poisonous power bit by bit to wear down its opponent's physical strength. It was just when the double needles of the big needlebee tried to pierce the salted fish king like syringes. The needlebee felt like it had hit steel. If you want to break through the defense of the salted fish king's scale armor, your strength must at least surpass that of an ordinary gym level. Strong wind, listen to my command. Go and think about it, bug. The wind and clouds are turbulent, and the dragon's power sweeps across. The tornado that quickly formed around the salted fish king continued to attack the foot of the mountain with the poor giant needlebee. The big windmill spins slowly. Bang! There is an additional hole at the foot of the mountain belonging to a giant needlebee. Here, this battle between elves is recorded, which means that the giant needlebee has been here before, and came here to face the wall and think about it. Snap! The giant needlebee loses its combat effectiveness. No. The stingbee's roundabout battle has no effect at all in the face of a full-range indiscriminate attack like a tornado. Lisa once again ran from the edge of the battlefield to the edge of the mountain, panting. Wiped the sweat from his forehead. Her thoughts were completely focused on the battle between elves, and for a while, she didn't realize anything. Lisa gritted her teeth as she looked at the giant sting wasp that had left its mark on the hillside. Poppy. Tijipai, held in Yang Yu's hand, looked at the beautiful girl running on the ground, waving his hands to cheer her on. The little dream monster above covered her mouth and laughed secretly. It seemed to have guessed something. Lisa did not expect that her elf would be defeated so quickly, and the next battle would still continue. However, the way of fighting needs to be changed. The next step, it's up to you, go ahead, Magic Wall Doll. Bah! A humanoid elf like a circus clown appeared on the field, with 5 fingers swaying in the air like suction cups, and a transparent wall of air vaguely appeared. It's the Magic Wall Doll, Yang Yu was slightly surprised. This must be the first type of elf he encountered on the elf battlefield. It is a super-powered magic wall doll. Under the impression that it likes to do housework, it is easy to ignore its ability to fight. Proficient in field conversion and power conversion, if a meaningful name was used to describe the magic wall doll, it would be Formation Master. Great, its sister's magic wall doll. This time, it will definitely make Gyarados suffer. The youngest of the 3 Wenfiler sisters was waving her fist with determination in the viewing area. Oh! This game is quite interesting. If the field space transformation of this magic wall doll can hinder the action of Gyarados and effectively protect itself, it can cause great trouble to the opponent. But, Yang, please don't let me down. Ivan took a slight step forward, his eyes gradually focusing. Master, Metagross is analyzing Gyarados according to your request. After 2 more games, all the information can be summarized, Shakara said in a serious voice. I really want to fight this giant Gyarados once in advance, so that the data can be more accurate. It's a pity that our battle zones are different. If we go to Yang in advance, something will be exposed to trainers in other areas. I would rather not do that kind of thing, Ivan sighed. Shakara said, Master, there is still a long period of time here. As long as there is a battle with Yang, we will let Metagross analyze it with all our strength. In this way, the data will be more accurate. There are some opponents who cannot let the giant Gyarados fully demonstrate its true strength. Did you just see that the power of that tornado move is very powerful? Now, this Gyarados only uses 2 moves. Ivan's voice became softer and softer. Let's first watch this showdown against the magic wall doll. Okay, Master. The showdown between the magic wall doll and the giant Gyarados is undoubtedly a classic elf showdown between skill and strength. The magic wall puppet immediately retreated a distance, and at the same time, its hands, which seemed to be performing magic, began to rub in the air. The air wall that appeared out of thin air was vaguely mixed with the protective power of the wall of light and the reflective shield. They were intertwined and relied on each other. At the same time, a solid triangular structure was formed behind the wall. At this moment, the magic wall puppets were waiting. It's a bit like MC's house building, or, more like Fortnite, where the magic wall doll uses air for defense to create various defensive walls with different abilities. Looking from the direction of Yang Yu, the magic wall doll seems to be moving its left and right hands in slow motion, and the right and left hands are replaying in slow motion. In this rhythm, it is almost difficult to imagine. This is the good use of the magic wall doll. Moves. Be careful, King Salted Fish, pay attention to the direction of the wall. Roar. Even without Yang Yu's reminder, the Salted Fish King found something was wrong. In his eyes, this magic wall puppet seemed to be dancing on the land in front of him. Although he didn't quite understand what the movements of his left and right hands were waving, but vaguely, the Salted Fish King's pupils were deep. I found some secrets in the mine net everywhere. Air wall. Like a somewhat reflective air wall, at this moment, the magic wall puppet behind it looks even more dazzling. This song brings you happiness. Have you ever wanted to hit me? Bah! The demon wall doll did not dare to let down its guard at all at this moment. It knew exactly what it was doing. Attract the Gyarados in front of him to attack him, and at the same time use the air wall to counter-attack the Gyarados. If the Gyarados can be plunged into chaos, this kind of rhythm is what the magic wall doll plan wants. Follow me. Nose, eyes, move your ears. Pretend to be nice, act cool, keep changing your style. The magic wall doll performs a move, shake dance. The body is full of dancing effects. Under the flexible puppet joints, it can move through the air. I want to have a battle with the Salted Fish King. Shake dance, can make all the elves in the venue except the magic wall doll fall into chaos. If the Salted Fish King cannot resist the attack of shake dance, chaos will definitely happen. There are too many battles. Unknown guess. What is the chaos of a dance fight? The magic wall doll did not hesitate to walk from behind the scenes to the front of the stage, jumping directly from behind the air wall to the air wall. On this stage formed out of thin air, spare no effort to perform the swing dance. The leather shoes under the demon wall doll's feet clicked on the air wall, and the surroundings echoed with percussive sounds, but none of these sounds had any real effect on the demon wall doll. Soundproofing properties, here you go. Not even noise can hinder the swaying dance of the magic wall doll, nor can it interrupt it. The only thing left is a fight. Polish your leather shoes. Put on a suit. Wearing a carrot of dreams. The magic shines like a diamond. In the palm of the magic wall doll, it is like a carrot of dreams, striking like stars in the direction of the Salted Fish King. Come. Isn't it just dancing? Salted Fish King, I'm afraid of you. Sizzle. The Salty Fish King's eyes sparkled with electric lightning. Under the previous recuperative massage of the Thunder and Lightning Massage Fist, every part of his body was transparent, and powerful power filled his whole body. My bravery is fully charged. Arrive everywhere with your head held high. The magic shone, covering the entire body of the Salted Fish King like the sun. The dazzling light seemed to make all the trainers around him unable to help but stretch out their hands to block it. Yang Yu coughed lightly. Supersonic bat sunglasses, supersonic bat sunglasses, it's your turn. The little dream demon reached out and took it for herself. Is it cool? Do you want to learn it? Woo, woo. Tijapai, who did not have sunglasses, began to look aggrieved in his eyes, and his voice began to tremble. almost at the moment Tijipai was about to open his mouth and cry. The little dream demon immediately put on Tijipai's sunglasses. Poppy. There was a hint of sweat on the forehead of the demon wall doll. Under the scorching sun, this fight dance was even more exciting. The sun of this world. Because only confidence can illuminate me. The center of this stage. Only I can shine. Only I can shine. Roar. The salted fish king soared from the ground, shining brightly, bathing his whole body in magical radiance like holy light. The familiar golden lightning resisted this confusing fairy-type move, magic shine. Dragons, dance. At the moment when the magic wall puppet started to continue left hand and right hand slow motion, the salted fish king with a contemptuous look in the air, almost turned into a real dragon in the air. On the left draw a dragon with me. On your right draw a rainbow. The dragon's majestic and huge aura, with its thunderous power, pressed down hard on the entire field below. Come on, come on. Come on. At this moment, where does the demon wall doll still want to fight with the salted fish king? You've already started calling me daddy, okay. It's the dance of dragons. It's Gyarados dragon dance. What a terrifying movement, the faint clouds in the sky are all gathering for it. What kind of terrifying power is this, my god? Sister Jing, look, Yang Yu's giant Gyarados, it turns out to be so strong. This is too strong. Bah, bah. On Li Yuanfang's shoulder, the hair all over the body of the Ibrahimovic blinked and stood up. Even though it was a certain distance away from the battlefield, the pressure in the sky still made Ibrahimovic feel a strong sense of crisis. Yang Yu's Gyarados has become stronger again. Hu Jing's face turned pale slightly. She had thought in her mind that her Tanabata bluebird had now returned to its normal appearance from the original Tanabata blackbird. She and the Tanabata bluebird shared the same hatred and wanted to defeat Yang Yu's giant Tyrannosaurus in the World Championships. The dragon is beautiful. But now, this thought seems to only exist in my mind. Dragon dance, you have to be careful. When you fight against Yang later, the improvement of dragon dance can almost increase the strength of Gyarados by more than half. It is already very powerful. If you dance once, it will be a nightmare, Shakaris couldn't help but said, the duel seems to be over. No, Ivan shook his head slightly, his eyes falling on the magic wall doll in the venue. This magic wall doll doesn't seem that simple. Don't forget, the moves of the magic wall doll, change powerful moves. But master, watch it first. No one can guarantee victory in the showdown until the last moment, Ivan said solemnly. Yes. In the venue, Lisa looked at the giant Gyarados surging like a tsunami in the sky, and her whole body couldn't help but tremble. There was some fear, and at the same time, there was an unspeakable excitement in my heart. Unexpectedly, the opponent's Gyarados performed dragon dance at this moment. Don't underestimate the magic wall doll. Even if you use transformational moves in front of the magic wall doll, you still get hit. Lisa gradually began to feel ecstatic in her heart. Magic space. Wonderful space. Iron wall. Power, exchange. The muscles on the demon wall doll's arms seemed to become a little thicker at the moment of the exchange of power. The exchange of power exerted almost completely eliminated the attack effect of Salty Fish King's dragon dance, and the iron wall formed in an instant to increase defense gave the demon wall doll a strong sense of self-confidence. Gyarados is hit. But really, is that so? The Salted Fish King felt his improved strength and speed disappear almost rapidly, but there was no panic in his eyes. If he hadn't learned the dragon dance of Kuai Long in the secret realm of the East China Sea Dragon Palace, then at this moment, it would have been a lot more trouble to deal with the demon wall doll. Now. So what if the ability improved by dragon dance is lost? Amid the thrusts of the attack, dance again. Boom. The Salted Fish King's body hit the wall of light. The demon wall doll relied on its light wall and iron wall, including its improved strength defense, to be able to withstand this heavy blow. Just when all the trainers thought that this attack was almost over, a second force suddenly swept across again, like a whirlwind. It exploded from the field. That's the move. Little burst cyclone charge tornado. After the light wall, the demon wall doll's expression changed in an instant. The offensive that should have stopped suddenly erupted with even more terrifying power than before. I can't stop it? Xiao Qianqiang, I know you love me very much, you can definitely help me block it. Come on, you can definitely do it. The magic wall dolls are calling you 666. So, I'll run away first. Under Lisa's dull gaze, the magic wall doll conveniently picked up a newly made air wall and ran away. Epsilon equals epsilon equals epsilon equals. Slipping away, slipping away. Hurry up and find a place with a pit to hide and defend it. I used too much power in exchange for abilities and creating sites. I couldn't defend too many places, so I had to find a trap. As for where the pitfalls are, didn't you see two neat pits in the mountainous area ahead? It just so happened that the pit where the marsupial dragon had been housed before allowed him to hide in advance. However, how could the salted fish king allow this demon wall doll to escape so easily? Dad, no. A family should be neat and tidy. On the mountainside, a third pit appeared. Asking for votes. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Qiangxiao. Chapter 516. The battle situation was changing rapidly, and even Lisa Wenfiler, who was already fully confident, was frightened by the sudden spiral whirlwind in front of her. Didn't you resist it before? Why is this happening suddenly? Shaka, hurry up and get the Metagross battle analysis data. It's the few seconds during the battle between Gyarados and the air wall. I want to see what happened in it. Shakaris was shocked. He had not heard his master speak in such a tone for a long time. Even among the elves fighting in the country, there were very few people who could make his master take him so seriously. Metagross has powerful computing power. According to tests conducted by the Elf Alliance, its computing power can basically surpass the world's top supercomputers. No matter which country or region it is in, Metagross is a strategic elf sequence. By analyzing existing battles, we can get the advantages and disadvantages of the elves, as well as the weaknesses that the elves tend to have during battles, thereby helping trainers win the battle. When it comes to Metagross analysis, Yvonne rarely seeks out the data before the results come out. In most cases, he only actively watches it after the final data analysis is fully settled. This time, just to see the changes that occurred in just a few seconds during the battle, the Master Yvonne actually changed the original arrangement. Okay, Master, I'm going to the viewing camp now. Koga Ninja, if the demon wall doll just now was you, could you escape the extremely fast attack like Gyarados? Lily Sakura bit her lip, having an unbelievable thought in her mind. Yang Yajun's strength, why has it improved so quickly? The growth of Gyarados is a bit scary. The Koga Ninja who was hiding next to Lily Sakura didn't make a sound, but Yuri Sakura knew in her heart that the explosion at that moment might not be able to withstand the reaction of the Koga Ninja. If you encounter, you must use close attacks to prevent Gyarados from increasing its momentum. It is best to put Gyarados' attack at a disadvantage from the beginning. Lily Sakura frowned slightly. Shakaris, looks like he's in a hurry. What are he doing? What did Yvonne ask him to do? Wait, that's right. Over at the battle camp, we should go to Metagross to get the battle data analysis information. Koga Ninja, let's go, let's follow and take a look quietly. The magic wall doll has been defended. But even if he defended the salted fish king's salted fish thrust, the demon wall doll didn't want to continue working hard. The salted fish king beat him like a father beating his son. One was willing to be beaten, but the other was not willing to suffer. The poor air wall girl had already been knocked away by the salty fish king. If the magic wall puppet hadn't been clever enough to temporarily create a new air wall when escaping, the air waves behind it would have attacked him. It's fine now. Although the entire doll was smashed into the mountain, he still wasn't seriously injured. Roar. The Xianyu dynasty let out a solemn roar in front of the demon wall doll who was trying to climb out of the pit on its own. It's like the dean caught a student who was playing truant, and the student fled into the classroom and locked the door. Who allowed you to come out? Okay, okay. The magic wall puppet quickly held the air wall in front of him, just in time to cover the hole tightly. Don't dare to move, don't dare to move. The magic wall puppet blinked. He always wants to get close, he even does magic, and can even guess what will happen in the subsequent battle between elves, really. The salted fish king is a bit serious this time. The magic wall doll, could he still be able to predict the future? At this moment, the magic wall puppet took out a white flag from nowhere, slowly stretched it out from behind the air wall, and swayed along the way. Those trembling little eyes looked aggrieved. Just looking at this skillful operation, it seems like he has done this a lot before, right? The magic wall doll felt so bitter in his heart. In the past, this white flag was reserved for opponents to wave. Really, it was never for it? The salted fish king did not give the magic wall doll a chance to continue speaking, and signaled the magic wall doll to start its performance. The salted fish king wanted to see what kind of magic the magic wall doll would do, and see how it could predict future. I only saw the magic wall doll cautiously reaching out a hand from the hole. I found that the salted fish king didn't seem to have any intention of stopping him, so he got out of the hole bit by bit, and then reached out to touch his back. Dang dang dang. The broom that the magic wall doll uses to sweep the floor. He who knows the current affairs is a hero. When it is time to give in, he must still follow his heart. The magic wall doll is like a great painter with a mission. Holding the big broom in his hand, he started to use the air wall to measure the distance on the right side of the third pothole. In almost no time, the demon wall doll used its last remaining superpower to draw the outlines of 3 pits of different sizes on the wall behind. Magic wall doll, what are you doing? Stop. Stop fighting, Lisa hurried over again, still at the foot of the mountain. However, things were so beyond Lisa's expectation. The magic wall doll actually used a broom to draw pictures on the wall, painting pits. Aren't you trying to resist? The next second, the magic wall doll felt that something was wrong, as if he felt the internal injuries that had been accumulated in his body for a long time erupted. His eyes crooked, and he fell to the ground in front of the salted fish king and Lisa. By the way, I secretly hid the white flag. The magic wall doll lost its combat effectiveness. It was the work of the magic wall doll stand-in and had nothing to do with the magic wall doll. Lisa looked at the neatly 6 pits in front of her. 3 of them had sunken in, and the other 3 only had 3 outlines. They were like 3 pits that were empty and waiting, just waiting for Lisa's next step. Battle. For a moment, Lisa felt a sudden lump in her throat. This is too much, Lisa yelled out these 3 words almost crying. She finally understood. Why does she have to come here every time to take back the elves who failed in the battle? It turns out there was a premeditation here. There is a conspiracy. This Gyarados. He loves sun walls. Even the magic wall doll with the greatest chance of winning could not withstand Gyarados' attack. Lisa and her 3 remaining elves? I have to admit defeat. Excuse me, crash into 3 more pits and let the magic wall dolls block it. Lisa Wenfiler has never encountered such a shameful thing. Why is the elf battle in a mountain land venue? What the hell? The fallen magic wall puppet came to life again. What did it just hear? The hole you drew, is going to bury yourself? No. Winky face, equal 3 equal 3 equal 3. It's not enough to give up with a white flag. Huaguo, Yang Yu, wins. Keep asking for votes. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huoqiang Shao. Chapter 517. The third elf battle zone seems to have ushered in a new unwritten rule. The trainers who came to compete later could clearly see that at the foot of the mountain venue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 elf per pit, and the team was neatly lined up. Although the next 4 pits seem to be left by the same spirit, those are not important. What is important is, now, this side of the mountain is the mark of the loser. No one wants their elf to leave traces of shame on this mountain of losers, and everyone wants their opponent to taste the taste of failure. For a while, boom, 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 boom can often be heard in the third elf battle area. There is the sound of the elven sun wall. Wu Yuqian's elf battle ended later than Yang Yu's. In addition to Baidiao, he also used newly harvested geraniums. In the end, under the bullet punch of the giant pincer mantis, his opponent Wenfiler's 3 sisters were killed. The eldest sister was defeated. They both lost, but their expressions when they came out were completely different. Wu Yuqian was talking and laughing, but Yang Yu was, a little serious. After all, the battle elves were arranged neatly in a row, as if the salted fish king had stamped them at the foot of the mountain, and the arrangements were clear, and no one would feel good if they came. Yang Yu thought the magic wall doll following behind his opponent Lisa Wenfiler was a bit interesting. He even handed it over with a square white handkerchief, as if he wanted to wipe its owner's sweat, but it was not accepted. He held Tijipai in his arms and wore a little dream monster on his head. Yang Yu is a tough guy who can't get any affection. No one knew if Yang Yu would take out something as big as the salted fish king from his pocket. Yang Yu, will you continue to watch their battle here? The battle between elves here is more interesting and more intense than in the national competition. I guess you can also see some black technology playing styles, Wu Yuqian said while smiling and waving in the direction of the 3 sisters. Yang Yu also followed Wu Yuqian, waving in the direction of the 3 sisters, but what he received seemed to be angry eyes, and he shrugged. It's my first time to see the deep-sea battlefield over there. If you encounter a battle arena built on the bottom of the sea in this world, you can get used to it in the sea in advance. It's not actually the bottom of the sea, but the lake is all sea water after all, so it's not wrong to say that. Wu Yuqian nodded. The undersea battle arena on the island in the center of the world is somewhat like an ancient Western arena, but there is still no record of that field in the history of the league. So that's it? I thought it was established by the Elf Alliance on the bottom of the sea, but it turns out it exists on the island in the center of the world, right? Yang Yu was a little surprised. Wu Yuqian affirmed, yes, this should be regarded as a relic on the island, so the Elf Alliance did not deliberately modify the site. After so many years of undersea battles, the damage to the site is almost minimal. This is also about the world. An unsolved mystery of Central Island. Listening to Wu Yuqian's explanation, Yang Yu became more and more certain about the speculation about the 3 divine pillars. On this island, there must be secrets left by the 3 divine pillars, or there is a possibility that Yang Yu doesn't even dare to think possible. Ice God Pillar, Regis. Steel Divine Pillar, Regis Chiru. Rock God Pillar, Regirock. Perhaps one of the 3 is on this island. The Ice God Pillar is the least likely, the Steel God Pillar is the second most likely, and related to this island, the Rock God Pillar is the most likely. However, until the veil of the world's center island is unveiled, everything is still Yang Yu's guess. The key to unlocking the secrets of the 3 divine pillars. The Roaring Whale King already exists, just under this island, so where should we find the remaining ancient Skycanthus? It's impossible for it to come to your door on its own. I'll go with you to take a look, just to get used to it in advance. Fighting on the bottom of the seabed will make me suffer a lot, but you will definitely be fine. I predict that the people on the entire island will be better than you. I guess there is no one who can beat him. Wu Yuqian smacked his mouth, humphed and put his hands on his hips arrogantly. Yang Yu rubbed his eyes. Senior brother Qian, you don't have a fever today, right? I don't have a fever, I just feel sad. It's a pity that I grew up on the grassland. On the grassland, trainers tend to raise elves like eagles, mermaids, and water elves. It's indeed a bit missing. Wu Yuqian shook his head. Senior brother Qian, how about we raise fish together? Yang Yu smiled. He. I can't raise them. It's easy to raise them, but it's too difficult to raise them well. By the way, having said that, it's best not to summon your meanness these days, at least in these battles before the world masters. Don't call him out. Wu Yuqian lowered his voice. Yang Yu nodded seriously, understood. The World Elf Alliance temporarily set up a wetsuit changing camp on the island land where the underwater battlefield is located. Yang Yu and Wu had money to change their clothes, and Yang Yu summoned Dede and Mini Dragon. I'm hungry. As soon as the Mini Dragon came out of the elf ball, it wrapped around Yang Yu's neck and stuck its head into the pocket of Yang Yu's clothes and pants, looking for energy cubes one by one, almost putting its whole body into the small pocket. What a greedy little guy. Yang Yu couldn't resist the enthusiasm of the Mini Dragon to find food. If he didn't take out the energy cube later, Yang Yu believed that the Mini Dragon would definitely get into Yang Yu's sleeves. Dedu, I will continue to trouble you later. Yeah. Dada patted his belly and nodded, just leave it to him for safety. Dede is an elf that you can trust 100%. Come out, Salted Fish King. Yang Yu threw the elf ball again, but the Salted Fish King still didn't come out of the elf ball. Thinking of his performance in the battle not long ago, Yang Yu put the elf ball back in his pocket. Come out, little Bao Bao. Ho ho ho. Poppy. The appearance of little Bao Bao in this huge island lake did not attract much special attention. The influence of the giant Gyarados and Salted Fish King was not comparable to that of little Bao Bao. It's just that little Bao Bao doesn't care about other people's looks, as long as he has little Dream Demon by his side, and by the way, there's another Tijipai now. That's little Dream Demon's new little brother. Little Bao Bao, let's go. Ho ho ho. Relying on Xiao Bao Bao's constantly diving body, Yang Yu and Wu Yuqian were getting closer and closer to the bottom of the island lake. When this world center island similar to the ancient coelacanth sinks into the depths of the sea, this seabed battlefield will appear very deep. But now, the world center island is floating on the sea level, and it does not take a particularly long time to dive slowly from Xiao Bao Bao to the bottom of the island lake. The superpower protection that Dede used seemed much easier than when he went to the secret realm of East China Sea Dragon Palace. Here, why are there lanternfish here? Yang Yu was a little confused. The lanternfish was prepared by the Elf Alliance to provide lighting effects for the battlefield. The subsequent battle was held at the bottom of this arena-like arena. There were many people over there who were helping the elves adapt to the environment here. In comparison, your advantage is indeed much greater, Wu Yuqian pointed forward. Yang Yu looked forward through the relatively bright light. Why are there elves with oxygen masks on their faces? This is too difficult for them. It is almost impossible for some trainers who live in the desert all year round to obtain water elves, and it is also difficult for water elves to have a good growth environment in such a place. Wu Yuqian continued to explain, on relatively harsh ground on the field, their elves have a great advantage, but on the bottom of the sea, it is a bit difficult, and you must wear an oxygen mask. The scene in front of Yang Yu reminded Yang Yu of the scene in the animation where Master Yi and Pikachu wearing an oxygen mask and carrying an oxygen bottle were exploring the bottom of the sea. Of course, there was also an elf battle on the bottom of the sea. but when the scenes in the animation actually appeared in reality, although it was a bit ridiculous, in fact there were trainers and elves doing this. Whether it can be done is one thing, but whether or not it is done is another matter. Little Bao Bao, get closer to the bottom and swim along the deep sea battlefield here. Yang Yu wanted to see if he could find any clues in the arena. In an inconspicuous corner of this site, there are faint, like two red spots, gradually beginning to appear, like as if aware of something. Poppy. God's grace. Super lucky. I had to work overtime at night and cried. Pokemon's character master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 518. Little Bao Bao, stop here first, Dudu, let's walk around and take a look at this pair of battlefields. Yeah. Dudu nodded. When Yang Yu, Wu Yuqian, and Dede jumped off Xiao Bao Bao and landed safely on the seabed, there was a burst of dust underneath. Just like landing on the surface of the moon in space, it would be difficult to continue walking on the bottom of the sea. Aha! The mini-dragon was like a water snake. Not only was it looking curiously at the differences in this place, it also twisted around and wandered back and forth, as if it were in an underwater playground. With the help of Dudu, the little dream demon built a circle of transparent balls around it, which looked a bit like space aliens, floating in the sea. As for Tijipai, Poppy. Tijipai, who landed on the seafloor, jumped up as if equipped with a spring device, jumping very high, and then slowly falling downwards, waving his little hands excitedly, having a great time. Huh, I'm really not used to it. Wu Yuqian wanted to take a step, but the force seemed to be too strong, and he bounced up on the bottom of the sea like Tijipai. Tijipai is of course happier when he sees someone playing with him. Every time he jumps, he can even perform many tricks before falling. Spiraling into the sky, rolling and turning, with great energy. Little dream demon, take care of Tijipai, mini dragon, don't run too far, Dudu, let's go forward in the direction of little Bao Bao. Yang Yu was like a guardian with 3 children, and kept saying worrying. At least make sure it's within your sight, or that of Xiao Bao Bao, so that you have a peace of mind. Those trainers who are training at the bottom will basically not affect Yang Yu's side. Most of them are not good at such a venue, so they came here in advance to familiarize themselves with it. There are also a large number of trainers who are not here, but outside the island. In the sea. Many moves will be greatly affected in the sea. For example, fighting elves will have a hard time exerting most of their strength, Wu Yuqian said with emotion. Yes, electric moves are still very dangerous. If the trainer is not careful, he may also be affected. Yang Yu supported Xiao Bao Bao and walked forward along the path of his body. This way, walking on the seabed would be much easier. Tijipai and little dream demon, I'm afraid they have forgotten what they came here for. Wu Yuqian glanced at the 2 jumping elves behind him and smiled softly. In the fiery battle atmosphere on the central island of the world, Yang Yu is probably the only one with 2 such young elves. Not only is he not affected by this atmosphere, he can even find a different kind of happiness on his own. It's also different. We're going slowly, it doesn't matter. Yang Yu pointed the light device on the diving suit at the seafloor, illuminating a path and seeing if he could find anything. Seeing that Yang Yu seemed to be looking for something, Wu Yuqian did not doubt that he was there. After all, when he first came here, he also wanted to find something different in this place. I remember there are some pillars in front of me, with some words engraved on them. They are very old anyway, and the Elf Alliance still hasn't deciphered them. They are probably descriptions related to the ancient gladiatorial arena. Wu Yuqian pointed in the direction ahead. Said. Yang Yu's eyes lit up. Maybe there was a clearer clue on Zushi's side? Poppy. Yeah. Almost when Yang Yu was about to move forward at full speed in the direction of Zushi, 2 red dot-like eyes with coquettish light appeared behind him. Right at that clear red dot, Tijipai seemed to reach out and hug something, and let out an overjoyed laugh. The dull eyes saw very clearly. Those two red dots were actually not eyes at all, but patterns on the elf, and that elf. Isn't it the fish that Tijipai drew on the map before? The little dream demon opened his eyes wide and looked at the fish that suddenly appeared under Tijipai in disbelief. It seems like a few days ago. Tijipai even told it about this. It turns out, such a fish that looks like it can emit red lasers really does exist. Poppy. Tijipai is now not only holding the ancient coelacanth, he is even sitting firmly on the back of the ancient coelacanth. Tijipai called the little dream monster sister to come on its back, and waved with her little hands. Whoosh! It's just such a swish. Yang Yu and Wu Yukin just looked at Tijipai and little dream demon as if they were sitting on a rocket, and rushed forward with a swish. What is this horse riding thing? Yang Yu and Wu Yukin didn't even see clearly what happened just now. Why did it just swish? Yang Yu, your Tijipai and little dream demon are gone. Wu Yukin swallowed subconsciously, looking at the almost gone shadow in front of him. He could only stare. Are we going to chase now? Yang Yu's tone didn't seem very sure, and his mind hadn't turned around for a while. Wait, it seems we are going to chase. Little Bayo Bayo, Dudu, come on, hurry up and catch up. Although Tijipai's voice sounded happy and cheerful before running out. But Yang Yu was nervous. Did Tijipai wag his fingers and do some random tricks again? A rampage? Or salted fish thorn? It is also possible for Yudan to attack. But what happened to the red dot just now? Could it be that this move also has fire attributes? Yang Yu was a little confused. The color of the ancient coelacanth is almost the same as that of the seabed. Except for the two eye-catching red dots in the protective color of the whole body, Yang Yu and Wu Yukin could not see clearly what happened in an instant. Yeah. He patted Yang Yu's shoulder blankly, and at the same time used his superpower to draw a pattern of a fish that exuded a faint purple light. Tijipai and little dream demon were on the back of this fish just now. The patterns on this back, piece by piece, are mapfish. Is it the ancient coelacanth that took Tijipai and little dream demon away? Wu Yukin said quickly, but after thinking about it, he felt that something was not quite right. When did the ancient coelacanth move so fast? But how could there be an ancient coelacanth here? It's so shallow here, the ancient coelacanth isn't at the bottom of the deep sea. Little by little, Wu Yukin's voice almost disappeared later, and a reason that could explain this answer gradually came to his mind. Yang Yu said, the ancient sky stickleback is on the bottom of the sea. It turns out that this island was also on the bottom of the sea before it was brought to the sea by the Roaring Whale King's spray. The ancient sky stickleback followed the Roaring Whale King's movement. The jets of water follow the rising islands, rising from the deep sea. That's right. That's it. Wu Yukin couldn't help but get excited. Heroes see the same thing. But, Yang Yu, you also know a lot about ancient elves like the ancient Skycanthus. Many trainers even I've never heard of it, and some may only know this name. Let's understand a little bit. Let's go after these two little guys first. Damn, senior brother Chien, you're right, the ancient sky stickleback is not that fast. What kind of moves does this Tijipai use? Yang Yu felt his left and right eyelids beating crazily at the same time. You know, Tijipai took the little dream monster and ran quickly on the back of the ancient coelacanth. Does Tijipai have any experience riding fish elf? Yang Yu has it, little dream demon has it, and Dede has it too. Speaking of which, Yang Yu might not believe it himself. Tijipai had already mastered the skill of riding a fish as early as when he was in the elf egg. Who makes it a Tijipai with the dual characteristics of heavenly grace and super luck? Surf. The move Tijipai uses this time is not a salty fish thrust or a brave egg attack, but a surf. Even the ancient sky stickleback with a strange expression on its face. All changed from, to Sigma, oh. Rush the duck. Ancient coelacanth, Feel the duck power. I worked overtime yesterday and missed one update. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Shao. Chapter 519. The lake at the eye of the island in the center of the world. It became restless. Yang Yu originally thought that catching Tijipai back would be an easy and simple matter. Although it is indeed normal for this age to like to run and jump around, but running so fast and taking the little dream monster with him. You have to pay attention to safety. But once a child starts playing, how can he become obedient so easily? Of course, the more fierce Yang Yu chases behind, the more diligently Tijipai will run in front, and there is a strong tendency to make a big fuss in this place. However, Yang Yu's attention was not only on Tijipai, but also on the ancient aerial stickleback under Tijipai and Little Dream Demon's seed. The place where the ancient coelacanth is located is generally related to the undersea ruins in the elven world. Although Yang Yu doesn't know what the undersea ruins are in this world, it does not hinder Yang Yu's guesses and expectations. Little Bayo Bayo, rush, rush, rush. However, Yang Yu seemed to have overlooked a small fact. Little Bayo Bayo saw Little Dream Demon and Tijipai having so much fun, how could he pursue them with all his strength? However, necessary efforts still need to be made, and it depends on when the little dream monsters and the others get tired of playing. Let's act out the chase scene first. Xiao Bao Bao's eyes suddenly became serious and solemn, and the aura of the actor who was ready to go was completely possessed. Yang Yu didn't even realize that there was a traitor in his chasing team. Of course, even if Xiao Bao Bao tried harder, why would Tijipai be willing to be caught so easily? Poppy. The moment Tijipai waved his hand, the body of the ancient sky spinach shook. Liquid circle. Driven by the high speed of surfing, circles of liquid swayed around the ancient coelacanth-like protective layers, gradually began to fill with the power of water waves. Waves of water. This is a move similar to the water wave formed by the liquid circle and surfing. It is weaker than the water wave, but such a water wave is equivalent to adding another buff to the ancient coelacanth that can move forward at high speed. This circle of water waves formed a protective layer around the ancient coelacanth along the fish's body. If Yang Yu saw it, he would definitely recognize it. Besides Whirlwind Charge Tornado, there is another move with a name. Dolphin Running Method from the original God of War Evolver. Using water waves to form a protective layer can not only reduce the resistance formed when traveling at high speed, but also make the interior more stable. This is not too friendly for the ancient coelacanth, which walks leisurely and mainly on its pectoral fins all year round. The little dream demon hugged the ancient hollow fish's back tightly, with an indescribable excitement in its eyes. A scene like this is the scene in the little dream demon's mind of the dream demon king goes to patrol the mountains. Go, go, go. Although the undulations of the water are not very powerful, it is more than enough to cause some waves on the lake. Axie. Why did I keep swimming back? Kui Beijin, what's going on over there? I seem to have been blown away by an unknown wave of water just now. Appa, I don't know. The wind on this island can't affect the bottom of the lake, how could it be like this? See, I was almost approaching the deep sea battle site, why was I suddenly swayed away again? Damn it! What on earth is going on? What happened? Just when the two Korean trainers, a man and a woman, were confused, suddenly, a figure like a submarine missile jumped past their eyes, and at the same time, it also brought an extremely powerful wave of water. The two figures swung upwards uncontrollably, like dolphins protecting the ancient coelacanth, and the waves of Tijipai and Little Dream Demon on the back of the ancient coelacanth, although they are not very powerful, don't rely too much on them. So close. See, let's do it. Kui Quaning's eyes widened. Just before their eyes, which were swinging away uncontrollably, something vaguely seemed to be attacking towards them. The moment when that ferocious gaping mouth finally appeared clearly. Ah, Gyarados. You, You, don't come over. Help, help. Yang Yu, did you hear crying just now? It seemed to be a female trainer? Those two trainers just now weren't scared to tears, were they? Wu Yuqin looked back in confusion, not knowing whether it wasn't that he heard wrong. Really? It shouldn't be. How can a trainer who can participate in the competition here cry so easily? Yang Yu coughed lightly and said righteously. Wu Yuqin blinked and thought for a moment, then nodded. That's right, the two trainers just now didn't seem to even summon the elves. They should be very confident in their diving abilities. How come Tijipai and Little Dream Demon are running so fast? At this speed, Little Bangbao is already moving very fast. If he goes any faster, it will be like a salty fish stabbing. If he accidentally bumps into someone else's Pokemon, if you are not prepared for defense, you may be knocked unconscious. Yang Yu changed the topic back to chasing Tijipai. Some headache. However, we still have to keep chasing. Xiao Baobao's figure sped up again and disappeared into this area with Yang Yu, Wu Yuqin, and Dai Dai with the mini dragon around his neck. When it became quiet here, the two trainers, holding each other and shivering, finally slowly appeared again. Yua, it's too scary, Appa, those trainers are too scary. Don't cry, Axie. These trainers are so arrogant, they will definitely offend people in other areas. When the time comes, we will catch up and make them look good. Appa, then, how can we chase after him? This is the secret weapon I prepared for the competition. I didn't want to use it so early. Under Kui Beijin's eyes, Zheng Xiangcheng angrily took out a pokeball. Come out, Catfish King. There was a flash of light in the elf ball. There was a tormenting scream in the lake. Oops. Catfish King, you carried the wrong person. The one you carried was not me, I am your master. Catfish King, you carried the wrong person. Beijin, come and save me, take me away from the catfish, pull it out of Wang's mouth. Kui Beijin looked at the Catfish King with a sausage in his mouth that held most of Zheng Xiangqing's Appa. For a moment, his eyes became blinded along with the Catfish King. Is this, Appa's secret weapon? Look. What kind of speed is that? Is there any rare elf that appears? Go and see, what kind of rare species is that? What kind of elves are those people chasing? Is there really any rare elves that are out there? Tijipai, stop. Damn Tijipai. Stop. Tijipai, Little Dream Demon, look at what good things you have done. My elves were so frightened by you that they suffocated in the sea. Stop. If it were just the normal dolphin running method of the original God of War evolved, that is, under the liquid circle and surf, Tijipai and Little Dream Demon would not attract so much hatred. But just because the Little Dream Demon has seen the terrifying Overlord Megalodon, that huge mouth of the abyss that seems to be able to swallow everything, even the Little Dream Demon himself will feel fear. If the Salted Fish King hadn't blocked it with his body, the Overlord Megalodon would have probably swallowed the big eagle. This is like a Little Dream Demon who often feeds on fear, accidentally vomiting out fear. This is definitely an unforgettable shame for the Dream Demon King. So, a bold idea occurred. Under the dolphin running method, the move Fear Face is applied, and at the same time, when frightened, the wave of water is formed into a simple wave of evil. However, Tijipai's bold idea can be realized with just a wave of his hand. So, the original God of War evolver, the shark running method with evil fluctuations and a fearful look was born. The tiny ancient coelacanth. It seemed like he turned into a giant toothed shark in an instant, constantly scaring trainers and elves in the lake. Poppy. Tijipai's face is filled with admiration. Little Dream Demon's sister is so awesome and so good at playing. Please vote. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Shao. Chapter 520. Yang Yu, what did your Tajipai do that we didn't expect? Why are there more and more people chasing you? Wu Yuqian followed Yang Yu and sat on Xiao Bao's back, gradually coming from the bottom of the lake on the island to the surface of the lake. When he saw clearly the direction they were chasing, a group of people appeared inexplicably from nowhere. Something's wrong. Judging from the direction we're chasing, nothing seems to have changed. Wait, what's going on with those people in front? Why are they running away in both directions? Are Tajipai and Little Dream Demon so scary? Yang Yu just stared. What happened? Yeah. Dede felt the breath of evil forces in the sea very keenly from behind, but he knew very well in his heart that such evil fluctuations were not caused by the Megalodon. Could it be? The purple superpower light bulb on Dade's head lit up, and he seemed to have thought of it. Grrrrrrrrr. Brother, are you also here to chase Tajipai? Wu Yuqian asked when he saw a trainer beside him holding the Swamp King on his back and chasing Tajipai and the little dream monster. The trainer wiped the seawater from his face fiercely, and said harshly, the Tajipai and Dream Demon actually used their fearful faces and evil waves to pretend that they were megalodons. What bastard trainer raised them? The elf can't even see clearly. Such an elf should be well educated. Wu Yuqian almost suppressed a smile and translated the trainer's words to Yang Yu. Yang Yu couldn't help but twitch the corner of his mouth. You may not believe it, but the person who raised Tajipai and Little Dream Demon is on this Gyarados. Well, he is the person in front of Wu Yuqian. Are you also the trainers who were frightened by Tajipai and Dream Demon? You have Gyarados. If you catch up, you must teach Tajipai and Dream Demon a lesson. How disgusting. The guy at the back blinked his eyes. His guess was indeed correct, but it seemed that it was better to stay in a dazed state at this time. Who told him to be stupid? Hey, it's the Slow King with the golden hat. Where are you trainers? Before Wu Yuqian and Yang Yu could reply, they had already rushed to the front under Xiao Bao's acceleration. King of Swamp, hurry up, we have to chase you too. The lake on the island is connected to the sea through the branches of the river. Tajipai and the Little Dream Demon are surfing towards the sea on the back of the ancient coelacanth. Whoosh! After experiencing a slight gap, the ancient coelacanth jumped up. Poppy! The ancient coelacanth's unforgettable dream of soaring into the sky came true so easily. Living in the deep sea for a long time, it almost only relies on the power of its pectoral fins to move, and its swimming speed is not very fast. In addition to the power of the water system, plus the rock system, the ancient coelacanth is small in size, but its weight is heavier than the average fish elf. Very many. If there was no howling whale king. They don't come from deep sea to shallow sea. If there were no Tajipai. Today's ancient coelacanth cannot feel the charm of running at high speed, let alone soaring into the air. If one word could be used to describe Tajipai's inadvertent impact on the ancient coelacanth, it would be dreaming. It was the same as what the Little Dream Demon had done before, but it was also different. The ancient coelacanth is enjoying such a process. Feeling another kind of life that is unimaginable. Even if this time is short, for the ancient coelacanth, which has an almost unlimited lifespan, it is a fun worth recalling in the future. Woo! The long and deep sound of the whistle came from the front end of the river. There is the outlet to the sea, which seems to be not far away. At that small outlet to the sea, a circular outline, a broad circular outline, began to rise slowly, little by little. Like a blue mountain with an arc top, it gradually turns white bit by bit, and you can even see the long white whisker-like traces clearly. The huge roaring whale king is like a spaceship slowly emerging from the sea. At this moment, it is parked and waiting at the mouth of the sea. On the huge round head, there are a pair of small and very contrasting cute eyes. Looking down at most of the trainers and elves in the river. Stop! Stop everyone! It's the roaring whale king. What is the roaring whale king doing? The trainers who were chasing him stopped immediately. They didn't want to fight the howling whale king at this time. The Elf Alliance has a clear rule. In order to avoid some accidents on the central island of the world, trainers had better not think about taking action against the howling whale king. What's more, in this sea, if a whole group of howling whale kings are angered, it is definitely a huge disaster. In the history of the Elf Alliance's research on the world's center island, there was an incident where the roaring whale king was angered by malicious intentions, causing the world's center island to sink prematurely, and at the same time, he viciously attacked researchers. Not only that, after that, the world's center island did not appear for several years. It was not until nearly 10 years ago that the Howler King group eliminated the remaining anger in their hearts, and the world's center island saw the light of day again. Since then, the Elf Alliance has had clear regulations. If a trainer wants to die, don't involve everyone on the island. Moreover, once a trainer wants to take malicious action against the Howling Whale King, he will definitely become the enemy of the trainers on the entire island. Even if the Howling Whale King doesn't take action, someone will come. Lesson. In addition, the World Elf Alliance will severely punish the area where the trainer is located. Of course, if you want to provoke the Roaring Whale King, you must have that strength. Otherwise, a powerful spray of water will not only blow away the elf, but also make the trainer pee. Woo! The two small eyes of the roaring whale king that couldn't match his body were staring at the tiny Tijipai and the little dream demon below. The roaring whale king was extremely curious about Tijipai, an elf with heavenly grace and super lucky characteristics, not to mention that it was the lucky one chosen by the god. Poppy. Tijipai waved happily towards the whale king. As the two got closer, the huge difference in size between Tijipai and the Howler Whale King forced the Howler Whale King to change his position and tilt his head to look at Tijipai. Stop chasing, stop chasing. This Tijipai is protected by the Howling Whale King. I still want to live a little longer. It's over, it's over. Tijipai was noticed by the Roaring Whale King, then it's okay. Why are you still watching? Are you still waiting for the Roaring Whale King to spray water? These trainers turned around carefully and ordered their elves to escape faster than the other. The Roaring Whale King is not something they can afford to offend now. Not to mention, there is an entire tribe of Roaring Whale Kings just around this island. Hello everyone, I am the Roaring Whale King. In this sea, I can not only sing, but also dance with the team, and even have impromptu fun with my friends. Did you see my nostrils protruding from the top? This nostril can produce different rhythms and melodies by spraying water. Don't believe it? Phew. 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 Under the dull gazes of Yang Yu and Wu Yuqian, along with the bewildered many dragons and the naive ones, they stared dumbly at the Tijipai that jumped up and flew into the sky with the splash of water on the Roaring Whale King. By the way, I forgot something. We roar like the Whale King, and we also play basketball. Poppy. Please vote, please vote. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Chiang Shao. Chapter 521. Study hard and watch well, and this is how you will take care of your children in the future. The army of Magi-Carp recuperating outside the island in the center of the world followed the Gyarados group. The team lined up neatly, and even the eyes and head followed the figure of Tijipai in the sky. They all looked to the left. Hashtag, hashtag, hashtag. Then they all looked to the right. Hashtag, hashtag, hashtag. The Roaring Whale King's ball skills are simply not too skilled. Tijipai is flying around in the sky without making any small mistakes. How could an ordinary Magi-Carp learn such superb child-rearing skills? But they still have to look at it carefully. Ordinary entertainment methods will definitely not be able to satisfy Tijipai in the future. Howling Whale King is like a high-end and classy Disneyland. If Magikarp Army is an ordinary amusement park here, if we don't study hard, by then, what if Tijipai cries again? This is Tijipai who has been to the sea, and his experience far exceeds that before. Children are the hardest to coax. However, moves like spraying water are too difficult for Magikarp. Under the subconscious action, these Magikarp began to try to use water gun moves. However, when they inhaled a mouthful of sea water and sprayed it out again, a mouthful of salt soda water was sprayed directly onto the head of the Magikarp in front. I can't learn, I can't. To be honest, the water gun that King Salted Fish couldn't learn when he was still King Carp, how could King Carp's army be able to do it? It's so hard, it's really hard. The little dream monster floating in mid-air is very tempting to watch, but unlike Tijipai, it is a ghost-type elf. If the nostrils on the top of the roaring whale king emit gas, it can still be fun. Besides, the little dream monster can float by itself, and playing sea trampoline like Tijipai will reduce the gaming experience a lot. This is actually the roaring whale king? Am I right? Wuyukin rubbed his eyes, feeling that he had refreshed his knowledge again. The Elf Alliance's evaluation of the Howler Whale Kings has always been that they are serious and difficult to get close to. Especially these Howler Whale Kings, who live in groups, rarely get close to people or other elves. But it's different now. The Roaring Whale King can actually play basketball. This pass was passed so skillfully, maybe he was looking for an elf like a spiny shell to play with in a deserted sea, right? If you read it correctly, that should be it. Yang Yu couldn't help but be speechless. The huge roaring whale king directly blocked the place where the river leaves the sea. Why, just to play Tijipai? You are yelling at the whale king, are you shameless? Poppy. The first king howler whale at the mouth of the sea slowly retreated for a distance. It was actually because the ancient coelacanth swam too close, and its eyes could not be seen. This ancient coelacanth with red light spots on its body was quietly waiting for the follow-up arrangements of the Howler Whale King. Woo dash. It's time to get down to business. The Roaring Whale King at the back passed Tijipai to the first Roaring Whale King again. This Roaring Whale King began to sink slowly. After its back was almost level with the sea level, Tijipai was able to it's safe to walk on. The smooth back of the Roaring Whale King and the almost flat sea surface are like forming a soft sponge with memory recovery function. Every time Tijipai takes a step forward, the footprints left behind will gradually be caressed by the sea water little by little. Ping, this is very interesting for Tijipai. Bang. 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 Under the care of the little dream monster, Porco's 2 round feet seemed to want to make the footprints appear deeper, so he stepped on the back of the Roaring Whale King with steps that no one would recognize, and at the same time splashed not a small splash. Woo dash. The Roaring Whale King slowly rose again, but this time, its eyes fell on Yang Yu, Wuyukin, and Dede behind Xiao Baobao at the same time. Woo, by the way, there's also a mini dragon wrapped around dude's neck. Poppy. After finally having enough fun, Tijipai and the little dream demon sat on the back of the ancient Skycanthus and slowly walked back in the direction of Yang Yu. Even when he was in front of Yang Yu, Tijipai still raised his head arrogantly on the back of the ancient sky spinach, and put his little hands on Dankier's waist, but he was so awesome. Oh, carrot, oh. Yang Yu looked at Tijipai's appearance, and his eyes fell unnaturally on the little dream monster. I'm afraid I wasn't taught this by the little dream demon. The little dream demon said that it would not take the blame. It was just a cute little girl who worked diligently to help Yang Yu take care of the baby. It was good that she did not ask Yang Yu for wages. Yes, how could it forget to ask for wages? Yang Yu and Wuyukin watched helplessly as the little dream demon floated leisurely in front of them and stretched out a hand in the direction of Yang Yu. Yang Yu. Tijipai also followed the little dream demon's sister in a decent manner and stretched out a small hand in the direction of Yang Yu. Poppy. Are you saying you haven't learned anything bad? Damn it. Ha 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 ha, Yang Yu, your little elf is so interesting. Wait, let me slow down, my stomach is starting to hurt. Wu Yuqin looked at such a famous scene and was about to be taken over by the little dream demon. So cute with Tijipai. Isn't this like a little kid asking for money to buy candy in front of his parents? With Tijipai here, Yang Yu even had to give it. Eat an energy cube, eat an energy cube. Yang Yu didn't have much change on him, not to mention that it was inconvenient to be at the seaport. He had to go to the temporary residence of the Elf Alliance on the island to transfer money. Eat energy cubes for the little dream monster. Tijipai is still small, Yang Yu really has candies prepared there, eat candies, eat candies. What Yang Yu didn't expect was that not long after he tore open the plastic packaging of the candy he had just taken out, he felt a swish in front of his eyes, and a blue and white elf with a slightly bulging head rushed up. Eat it in one bite? Mum. It seems pretty good. Asterisk. Mini Dragon, how could it be such a fool like you? Yang Yu never expected that the Tijipai team consisting of Pikachu, Squirtle, Bulbasaur and Ducky, which had appeared in the Gremlins animation, and Pikachu and Squirtle making faces, would also. There's no way I can resist the idiots from Kodak trying to grab Tijipai's apples. If Bulbasaur, the baby-raising expert, hadn't been here. Damn it. Although it is not in animation, it is almost the same. I thought that without the Hanpai Kodak duck, such a situation would not happen, but unexpectedly, another Hanpai mini dragon appeared. Simply. What a fateful scene. The smile on Tijipai's face almost disappeared and turned into rain. The little dream demon quickly put the energy cube that he had just eaten into Tijipai's hand. The little dream monster saved the world again. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Yang Yu quickly tore open another piece of candy, and at the same time handed the little dream demon an energy cube. Seeing the mini dragon, Tijipai, and the little dream monster eating delicious food, the huge roaring whale king also subconsciously smashed its mouth, getting closer and closer little by little. What delicious food are you eating? Can you give me a bite too? Just one bite, really? Asterisk. Yang Yu raised his head bit by bit almost tremblingly, looking at the shadow of the roaring whale king that was as dark as a mountain, and the huge mouth full of smile. The whale king's malicious eyes seemed to be staring at some prey, and he even raised his eyebrows at Yang Yu from side to side, with a smile like he, which made Yang Yu feel the deep malice coming from the sea. Yang Yu equals asterisk. Roaring whale king, what do you want to do? You must not mess around. I can summon the salted fish king. I no longer have the money to protect the 3 divine pillars. Real. At that moment, Yang Yu felt a heartbreaking pain. The working emperor. It's so difficult, it's really difficult for me. Please vote.